You're listening to IOE Insights, the UCL Institute of Education podcast at University College London.
Hi Louise, you remember last time when we sat together to record our first episode of the podcast? It was December and very cold. And now it's March and still cold.
Oh, come on, Tooba. Last week we had plenty of sun and it was almost 18 degrees.
Well, you know what? We have enough time for me complaining about the weather and not having enough sun here. But let's formally welcome our audience to the second episode of our podcast, the PhD Sketchbook.
Okay, Tooba, back to our subject. So last time we spoke about our initial motivation and how we find a home in London. Today we're going to focus more on the first steps of our PhD.
The beginning of PhD, how was it for you? Was it like you figured out everything, you had a plan and it was working fine, or was it chaotic?
When I came to London for my PhD, I was very joyful and I had a plan actually. I had my PhD proposal, but that was in theory. In practice, when I began my journey, I was very confused and it was very overwhelming because you don't know where to begin. It's hard to find where to begin. In IOE, as a PhD, you have a lot of freedom. You can choose all the classes you want. I meet my supervisor once a month, but I didn't know where to begin. What should I write? So my strategy was to book and attend as much classes as I can. I had a strategy. I began first with learning how to do a literature review, then some theory classes, some data collection classes, ethics. And it gave me a lot of different perspective and idea. But at the same time, I booked way too much classes, that's for sure. And I didn't have time to focus on my own PhD project. I didn't have time to write. So it gave me a good idea, but that was a bit of a mistake. I should have dedicated more time to my writing for sure. What about you? Was your the beginning of your journey as chaotic as mine, or it was better?
Mine was chaotic, of course, and very confusing. I love being confused. No, I'm lying. I don't love being confused. But I think it's very important to be confused at the start because then you move towards the clarity. So similar to you, I also thought that getting as much as exposure as I can would be the right thing to do. So I signed up for 6 courses, I think, in the first term, which is not a very smart move. Now I realize it. But I guess I needed that at the first, just the first steps of my PhD. I remember I signed up for the mandatory IOE courses and also some courses on methodology and theory and philosophies, everything and I thought that maybe going to those classes, I'll get some inspiration, which will guide me eventually what I'm going to do. And yeah, I know that it was chaotic. The schedule that I had, my calendar used to look so chaotic. And I realized I overcommitted, but we PhD students, we always overcommit. That's us.
Yeah, that's true.
But it worked. Somehow it still worked. And I think that, I could have gotten less courses, but it still worked.
Yeah, same. My Google Calendar was full and messy.
So Louise, what are you drawing?
I drew a thinking bubble because when I came into the PhD, my thought was very messy. So it's like a thinking bubble. And then I'm going to put all my idea and a lot of colors to show the messiness of the beginning of my journey. What about you?
Well, first looking at your paper, it's look very organized and you say it's messy. That's interesting.
I like organized in my messiness. This is why I have a Google Calendar and it's strictly organized.
I love being messy when I am messy. So that's what my paper looks like. Splashes of colors everywhere.
I love it.
I'm confused and I don't know where to go.
But this is very joyful and colorful. So that's a nice process.
Exactly. It's a nice process, still being confused and enjoying it.
I think this is the definition of PhD. Yep. Confusion and enjoyment.
Agree.
Okay, Tooba. So we said at the beginning of our journey was very much confusing. So when did you have a proper idea of what you wanted to do for your PhD project?
I mean, I did have an idea what I wanted to do for my PhD project since the beginning, before even applying for the PhD. But I would say the methodology I have at the time of application on my proposal was quite ambitious. I was trying to do a lot of things, and the feedback and guidance of my supervisors really helped me to narrow it down. And something else that really helped me was to really talk to those people who are already working in the area. After my supervisor suggested that go talk to the people, and as I was focusing more on teachers as my main participants, to talk with them and just have an initial feedback. How do they respond to the research idea? So I remember having to meet with people both online and in person too, and just sharing with them my initial idea of what I want to do, what would be my research setting, and what kind of activities I want to do with my data collection, and what I'm hoping to achieve. That really helped me to get a first-hand feedback from potential participants or the people who would be directly participating in the research. So that really helped me narrow it down. And what about you, Louise? What did help you?
So I had a similar experience. My research proposal is very different from what I'm doing right now. I was also very ambitious. I wanted to do multiple case studies and use mixed methods, but it was too much and too ambitious for a PhD. So yeah, my supervisor gave me a lot of advices and helped me to make it more practical so that I could actually achieve my PhD and finish it during the time constraint that we have. What helped me the most was reading. Actually, when I was doing my literature review, I was reading a lot of articles. It helped me to discover new methodology, new theories as well that I can apply to my own project. So it was very nice. And I think it's evolving process. Every day we read new article, we find new data as well that help to shape our project. So even today, I will say that this is still evolving.
I agree with you. Actually, that reminds me, another thing that really helped me was writing along with reading about the methodologies I wanted to choose, or my theories that I wanted to consider. I remember I had to my supervisor asked me to read around all the potential methodologies or the research side and other aspects of the research, and write a summary paper or review paper each month. And that really helped me to narrow it down and again see the practicality of my research proposal. I think when you write, you can really see what's going to work and what's not going to work. So that was also very helpful.
Yeah, I did the same actually. Every month I tried to submit a piece of writing, some paragraph about some methodology, theories, or even ethical question. And it actually helped to put your ideas, organize your ideas, put it in order. And it actually feels good that you actually are writing something for your upgrade document as well. And I also did the same as you. I went on in some school to have some initial observation that helped me to actually see if the theory I was going to use or the methodology actually going to work in practice or just theories in my head. So I think it was the good solution.
So let's talk about the big milestone, the ethics approval and the upgrade viva that stresses every incoming PhD student. How was that process for you, and what were you feeling when you were writing these documents?
Oh yeah, I can still remember that it was a very confusing and overwhelming time. As I say, I was writing some paragraph about my literature review, my background, my methodology, and my theories. And I was trying to put all these pieces together in a huge document, which is the upgrade document. And it was sometimes confusing, and I got lost into all these pages. So it was a long process, and it was a lot of back and forth between me and my supervisor, a lot of correction and modification, which is the case for every PhD student, but it's very long and very confusing. I did my upgrade during the first term of my second year, and I got my ethics approval during my first year on the second term or third term, I think. I mean, every project is different. Everybody is doing their ethical approval and their upgrade on their own time, so you should not compare it yourself. My ethical approval was long to do because I had to reflect on, I'm working with children, so I have to reflect on how I can work with children and make it ethical. So it was a lot of different questions. So yeah, every project is different, and according to your participant, according to your department requirements, you're going to do your grade and ethical form at different time during your PhD, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And it really depends on the nature of the research you're doing, how much time it's going to take for you to write and develop your methodology and to write the ethic form and the upgrade, and how you're going to administratively process it. I remember I first went, once I have a clear concept of my methodology, I begin with first the ethics approval and then upgrade, which is a bit different because I spoke to some of the colleagues and they said that they went with the upgrade first and then the ethics. So there's so many ways about it, and it's very flexible, the whole process is, to suit the particular need of your project. I also want to say there's a lot of stress around the upgrade viva because it seems such a huge and big step, especially when you are just starting your PhD. And a lot of people, including me, thought that it's something like, oh, you have this research concept, this research idea, and all you have to defend it in front of this jury. So, it sounds very dramatic in your head, but to be honest, it wasn't that dramatic. I remember I really enjoyed my upgrade viva discussion. In fact, in the middle of that, I forgot it was an upgrade viva, and I thought it's just like a friendly discussion with colleagues, and were giving very useful and beneficial feedback. And they really want us to succeed in our project. So I think that I learned that we should rather take it as a helpful guidance or like a discussion session, that it is to just something you put so much pressure on yourself that you have to defend. And I also agree about the timing, that you should not compare yourself with other colleagues. Everyone is working according to their own timeline, and everything is going to fall into place. Just keep working.
Yeah, I agree for the upgrade viva. Mine was also I really enjoyed it. It was very nice. I think, yeah, we should just take the advice. Like, this is people who have much more experience than you in your subject, in your area. We are just in the first year of our PhD when you do the upgrade, usually, or the second year. So we need that advice and this sort of new perspective as well on your research. So I think this is very nice, and you should have a very open discussion about it. Also, when you submit your upgrade document, usually that means that you're confident enough to submit it, then you have some clarity about your project. So you need to be confident to defend your upgrade viva, which is nice. And so yeah, it was very joyful as well. It was a nice conversation. Although I was very nervous and stressed. I didn't forget there was upgrade viva. And yeah, I was very nervous, but I think this is mostly my personality. So we spoke a lot about academic life. Alongside this, all these formal benchmark, how are you treating yourself? I mean, outside university and work.
Well, treating yourself, there is a very important terminology here, because PhD journey could be very lonely and also stressful, and just from time to time just checking out of it and just reminding yourself that your life is just not about, or just not revolve around the PhD, is very important. Again, especially as an international student living here, I think the most immediate connections we have is just the university work and research. So it's really hard to find the distractions or to really to treat yourself with other things outside work and research. So you really need to take some initiatives. I remember after doing my ethics application, I went out on a 3-day trip to Wales, and I found myself hiking in some remote mountains without GPS or internet, and it was really like an experience of literally touching grass and not gazing 24 hours on my computer screen. And that was really, really refreshing. It is still one of the most beautiful memories I have, and that was actually very helpful because and I'm very grateful and thankful to myself for doing that, because when I came back I had to immediately work on my upgrade, and just getting that, short trip outside the academia really helped to refresh and re-energize to work on the next goal. How about you, Louise?
Oh, I also treated myself with some day trip with my friend. I went to Brighton and I went to Oxford to do some painting. And this is very refreshing and very important to do that because you always have your PhD somewhere in your head. Like even when you go out with your friend, usually it's somewhere you're just thinking about your research question and some article you need to read. So going out and just, having fun and laughing is very important, just to step out of your PhD for some hours. And I remember after my upgrade, one of my friends actually treated me with a very hot chocolate and cream and marshmallow. That was very nice. It was in December, so it was very warming. So we spoke a lot about outside London and day trip. What is your favorite place inside London?
Well, on top of my head, I feel like my room as my bed.
You are a very introverted person, that's why.
Yeah. I just love staying in and doing absolutely nothing. You know what I love the most? Doing nothing.
And you do a PhD.
Ironic, but yeah, just sometimes taking a break from everything and doing nothing is what I absolutely love. And my room, it's like my little world, and it allows me to do that, me myself, listen to the music, just not worry about any deadlines or anything else, just binge watch my favorite Netflix shows, cook my favorite recipes and eat it. So yeah, I feel like the favorite place in London is the little home that I have built in these years. What about you?
But we already know that I am the opposite. So I like to get out a lot. I don't know. I mean, I tried a lot of different activities in London and visited a lot of places. I really liked the Shakespeare Globe. I watched Romeo and Juliet with some of my friends. I really love this place. I also like Greenwich. Like it's quite different from central London. This is very greeny and there is a good view, good park, good food as well. I like to try every food outside. Yeah, we're still speaking about food in this episode as well. And just having a pint and a beer outside in a pub, that's actually very nice.
Awesome. Well, I see a lot of colors again on your paper. Let's talk about our paintings, what we are making.
Yeah, so I finished this thinking bubble where there is a lot of different colors, like an explosion of colors, which are all my thoughts and ideas, a bit messy as well. And I did like a happy smiley because sometimes you're happy with some idea. And a very non-happy smiley, very angry smiley, because sometimes you're just like, oh no, this is a bad idea, and how can I make it alive as well? Like in theory, okay, but in practice, how can I make it? I drew a lot of conversation bubble because discussing with other PhD colleagues, with my supervisor, with media teacher as well, helped me to build my project. And I am still finishing to draw some books and article on the side because reading helped me a lot to shape my project as well.
It's looking really amazing, I must say. I love the colors.
Thank you. Yours as well is very colorful. I can see books, shelf.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, colorful is the theme for today's painting. And I was just trying to take inspiration from the last painting we made for the first episode, where I had my bag packed and everything. Like there are so many avenues and ways to go. But what we were discussing in today's episode, it was just like, as you said, a splash of colors, so many ideas, and so getting confused and plans not working. So I just literally painted that. I also have some thoughts represented by splash of colors, not as cute as yours, I don't know.
This is perfect. That sounds very perfect for me.
Thanks. And then, also a library, like shelves and books, and then a bin with a lot of papers thrown into because those are not working, and a board with plan A, B, C also not working. But somehow, if the message really is to you, if you keep faith enough in yourself and you keep going, no matter if the road is straight or it's filled with a lot of diversions, you're gonna achieve the goals at the end. So that's what my painting is today.
Yeah, I think you're right. PhD is a very long process, and everything is more about not giving up and just continue. Yeah. And you're gonna find the right path at some point. "Oh, Tooba, look through the window. The sun is actually coming out. You should not complain anymore today."
Oh, maybe not just today. Well, we'll see how the weather is when we record our next episode, which will be about our data collection, challenges, methodology, and facing the real world.
Stay tuned. If you have enjoyed this podcast, search IOE Insights on your preferred podcast platform to listen to more episodes from the IOE.
And a quick favor before you go, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we would really appreciate it if you could give the IO Insights podcast a rating.
5 stars will of course be nice if you have been loving what you are hearing, and that will help reach more people who are interested in knowing what we are all about.
Thanks for listening. Search IOE Insights for more podcasts from the IOE.